What is going on, everybody? So one of the most common questions I have seen in the community and personally dealt with from people, which was something I personally had to go through when I was kind of figuring out the carnivore diet, was this idea of finding unique nose to tail parts of the animal. And these are things like the kidneys, the liver, tongue, the organs of the animal, AKA offals. And you can do this in a variety of ways. They're actually quite prevalent, but the thing is, in my experience, you really have to talk to the farmers and let them know to bring you these items or find where you can get them. Or in some cases, you're gonna have to go to the actual farm itself to get them. Being where I'm at, there are farmers markets. So I'm gonna walk you through my process of how I would get certain organs in my local area. And I think you could take this process and sort of reverse engineer it, use it in your market, and you'd find that you could probably do something very similar whatever city you're in. I live in Austin, Texas. There's about 1 million people in the metro. Texas in general is a fantastic region for beef and for farming. So as a carnivore, I'm uniquely positioned in this market, and there's actually a lot of farms in and around Texas in Austin. So it is a little bit unique, but I think overall, you're gonna see that there is certainly some opportunity, whatever market you're in, to do a lot of these same steps to get the organs, to get the unique micronutrients that you have and find sources. So let's talk about my process. Let's go through it. Yeah, we'll jump right into it. So the first thing is you're probably gonna wanna look at farmers markets and butcher shops. You're looking for things like, let's just talk about liver, kidney, and fat. Those are probably the 3 things that I think on the diet you're gonna wanna try to find. And then let's say high quality eggs. If you can find high quality egg yolks, a good source of grass-fed, grass-finished liver, ideally, even though grain-finished is fine too, still gonna be very nutritious for you and much better than not having any liver. And then organs, like the other organs like kidney and then the fat trimmings, which is gonna be another trick to kind of find. These are the big ones that I would go for. So again, high quality eggs, liver, whether grass-fed or grain-finished, kidney, which is probably the least priority on my list of what I would say, and certainly finding a good quality fat source like suet or unrendered raw fat trimmings or tallow, which can be called the same thing, but you don't want to buy processed tallow like Epic brand because it's been melted down and now it's in liquid form that's solidified. That will really wreak havoc on your gut. So just to recap and hammer this all home, and to probably prioritize in the best way I would prioritize, I would focus on high quality fat source, because you're really gonna need that on the carnivore diet, and you wanna get an unrendered animal fat source. So something like tallow, suet, beef fat trimmings. So that would be one thing we're gonna search for here. The other thing we're gonna look for is liver. So those are the top 2 in my pick here. And then I would say high quality egg yolks and kidney, because egg yolks are gonna have great things like you're gonna have less issues with histamine intolerance and allergic reactions to the egg. You're going to get just a better overall nutrient profile, and eggs in general are historically mass produced, so you have to be really careful with those and find high quality. Kidney is one of those things where most people just don't like it, and so it's easy to get and it's low cost, but you have to ask the farmers for it. So without further ado, let's jump into it. This is my approach. This is how I would go about it. If I lived in a city, the first thing I would do is I'm filming on my iPhone right now, so I'm gonna actually use my iPad here to kind of show you how I would go about this. And I'm gonna screen record so you can kind of follow along on the iPad. But if I didn't have my iPad, I would just jump on my laptop here. Either one is fine. And you're gonna go to search. So I've got both screens recording now. I'm gonna show you on both of them. So if I went to my iPad, the way I would go is I personally like Google Maps over Apple Maps. I would go there and I would type in farmers market. And here you go. Almost immediately you're gonna get indexing for local farmers markets. So there are a couple here. If I click on the one here, SFC Farmers Market, this is the one I typically go to. It's right in my backyard, 2 blocks from my house. It's at a park here in Austin. It's closed. You can click on the actual listing, and then what you can do is you can go to the hours of operation. So you can see here, it's only open Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can look at the reviews. I would be looking at the location when it's open, And then I would also see if they have a website. So you can see here, sustainablefoodcenter.org. It takes you to SFC, Sustainable Food Center. And then you can read about the farmers market. So downtown Austin's farmers market started in 2003. It is the queen bee of SFC, Sustainable Food Center farmers market system. Features dozens of farmers, award-winning food artisans. The market is a must-see for newcomers and regulars, situated in a picturesque Republic Square, available at the farmers market here. It doesn't necessarily show me the actual vendor. And they've got a phone number here. You could just call them. I would call them. I would find out, hey, what kind of people, what kind of vendors are at this market? Do you have grass-fed farmers? Do you have beef farmers, pork farmers? What kind of animals farmers do you have in this sort of situation? You could find out more about that. That'd be a great move. Let's do one more as an example here. So I can look around and I can see a couple other ones. Sprouts Farmers Market, Natural Organic. This actually looks like a grocery store. So you could talk to that place too. Texas Farmers Market at Mueller's a big one. I usually go there. They're open on Sundays. Again, when you click on this, you can see they're open Sundays and Wednesdays. Wednesdays are actually open in the evenings. Sundays are open during the late morning into the early afternoon. This is a big one. They have a website as well, so I would go there. Sometimes they'll show you who the vendors are. Click here to see a list of our vendors who will be attending this market week. Awesome. So you can come in here, you can shoot around. So again, I'd probably try to find them on social or find a phone number here and just call them, see what they say, what's the situation like. Do they have, again, grass-fed, grass-finished farmers here? This market in particular, I have gone to, I just went, I didn't really call. I just kind of wanted to check it out, see what kind of vendors were there. And through talking to the local vendors and finding out more and walking through the different booths, I was able to meet the farmers and talk to them about what kind of quality of food they actually carry at the markets. So that is the Mueller market. The other thing you could do if you don't have farmers markets in your area is type in butcher shop. And when you're doing butcher shop, you can see a list of butcher shops that show up. So Rosso and Flynn Modern Butcher. I have not been there. They look like they'd be pretty cool though. They've got a few Google reviews here. Easy ordering, nice selection of quality local meats, beautifully packaged. High-end restaurants buy up great cuts of meats and grocery stores are left with the rest. Hands down, the quality is top notch. So this could be a cool one. La Hacienda Meat Market. There's a meat market down here. A lot of these butcher shops, you can get the organs. You may have to call to check on them, or you can actually just go into the actual place and they'll usually have like a freezer where they keep that stuff stocked. Sometimes you want to call and put an order in. So if it's something more unique like sweetbreads, you're looking for brain or even kidney can be a little bit unique, or fat trimmings. Those are things that are a little bit less commonly asked, but I find that I've gotten fat trimmings from this butcher shop here, Salt and Thyme. So I go there pretty regularly. I have a video where I went there actually and went and shot over and got some of their stuff. And I bought a bunch of organs on my video there. I got liver, I've bought sweetbreads from them. I've gotten like fat trimmings, just raw fat, fantastic. And so again, butcher shops, locals, farmers markets are great. When you go to the farmers market, one pro tip I have found is that you want to get the cards of the farmers in those markets, because as you develop a rhythm, as you sort of show up, you are gonna want unique things like kidney, like thymus, sweetbread, pancreas, like tripe. And when you get the cards, you can email or call them. And so what I do is I email them. What happened was last Saturday, I went to the farmer's market down here in downtown and there were no duck eggs left. We're getting into fall. Daylight is getting shorter for the ducks and they don't lay eggs. You know, the whole spring chickens concept that, you know, in the spring chickens lay eggs is a true thing. If you don't have spring weather, the daylight's not getting longer and the weather's not warming up, instead it's cooling down and the daylight's getting darker, it's not an ideal time for the animals to be sort of reproducing, because the winter and the fall are less of a conducive environment to raise their offspring. So anyways, I got their card. I emailed them. I was like, hey, I want 3 dozen duck eggs. I knew they were gonna be at the next farmer's market because you can ask the farmers in that situation. And I went and picked up 3 dozen duck eggs. They saved them for me. I showed up at like 1 o'clock. The farmer's market closed at 2. I was able to get everything I wanted there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to these farmers. I've got Peach Creek. They make fantastic Scottish Highland grass-finished beef, as well as Colby Smith here, Smith & Smith. I've just bought some of their pig fat. I'm gonna ask him if he's got some kidney, as well as some thymus, sweetbread, and then maybe some more fat. But I'm gonna make a list here, email it, and just reach out to these different farmers, and that will be that. So we're gonna do a quick email here. We're gonna compose one of our message to Bella V. And these farmers know me, so I'm actually gonna write this out. I'm gonna say, hey Aubrey, I can't remember Perrine's last name. Let's see here. Bella V Farms, Austin. See if I can spell her name right. Yeah, this is it. They make awesome, awesome pork chops. They have awesome stuff. Where to buy. Home, the farm, contact. So there's a little bit of a Perrine, there we go. Perrine and Aubrey. So could I put in an order for 3 dozen duck eggs for tomorrow's market? Thanks. Okay. And I'll send that email. Boom, that's done. So I wanted to get high quality duck eggs from them, so I'm gonna do that. The other thing I wanna do is I wanna send in a message to Colby Smith. So Colby G. Smith at yahoo.com. Hey Colby, I'd like to pick up another, let's say 1 to 2.5 pounds of pork. I would like kidney and 3 sweetbreads, preferably any lamb, because he's a farmer for lamb and pork, so I'm gonna pick it up for that. Thank you. That's fat, kidney, sweetbreads. I have a ton of liver right now. Like I have probably 6 pounds of liver in my freezer, and I have about 2.5, 3 more pounds of liver from my raw liver taste test where I made a bunch of jerky about a month ago, and I backed off my liver consumption, so I don't need to be ordering more liver right now. It's just, I have plenty. Rose and James, as well as Kay Richardson, I'm gonna email them. So we'll go in here and I'll say, Jim, JRDVM72. Hey Jim, this is actually Jim and Kay. This is Richardson, so hey Kay. Any duck eggs? 1 dozen if you have. 1 to 2 pounds of beef sweetbreads. I don't think she gets sweetbreads, but kidney, nothing there with those. Maybe also, she's done bones for stew without the meat. So she'll sell me actually bones where they've processed them, they've cut all the meats off, but there's still a lot of like collagen, tendons, connective tissue on the bones themselves, and they're a fantastic way to cook up a slow cook. Again, when I slow cook food, I tend to find that the food gets rendered and the fat kind of melts out of it, which isn't the best, but if I scrape that off and I'm left with the bones and just that soft meat, it's delicious. So it's a good thing to kind of consider. Sweet, so that's K. And then for James and Rose here, send one last email to them tomorrow. Hey Rose, James, I'd like to put in an order for tomorrow market for pickup. 1 to 2 pounds of suet, sweetbread up to 3 pounds, kidney. I think that's it with them. They also have heritage pork, which is interesting as well. Preferably beef, but also would take pork. So let's see what happens with all this. This is a lot. This will give me a stock of like a couple weeks worth of stuff. In the freezer, all these organs will last. They're vacuum sealed, very well processed, super clean. I try to keep about 2-3 weeks worth of stuff in there and go from there. I'll put my name in there. Thank you. And my cell phone so they can text me if they want to reach me. So that's basically how you would do it. Find the farmers markets, know your farmers, get their cards, put in orders. A lot of them will come, they'll bring the specific items you order if you don't normally, if they're not common items like these organs, and they'll hold them for you and you can pick them up. And it's an awesome way to get high quality, direct from the source, grass-fed, grass-finished organs. Keep it running, rolling.
What are your orders?
Yeah, and you replied.
I did.
I think you said suet and kidney. You guys, pork kidney? Yeah, sounds perfect. So I'll take the pork kidney.
Okay.
I'll take whatever I ordered.
Not today.
Are you your son? Okay, cool. I emailed her. I was asking if you guys had any sort of like organs, like kidney. I think I did email you, right? Yesterday?
Oh, yesterday? What you want?
I just was asking you if you had any sweet beds.
Next week? We can all look for that.
Next week?
Yeah,
I'm gonna be out of town next week.
Golly.
But wait, can you, if I
Send me,
email
yeah,
you, will
yeah.
you hold it for
Yes,
me?
sir.
Because it's lamb, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. How many pounds do you get?
For sure. I don't know, they're not very big. They're little bitty.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah. Took 20 lambs. You'll get 20 lambs for it.
Dude, save it all. I'll buy it all.
It won't be like multiple pounds.
Yeah, I can buy it all.
Did they respond to you?
I don't think they did. I emailed her yesterday.
She's out of town right now.
Okay. Can I take one of those? Probably not both of them. If that's okay.
No, that's fine.
I'm gonna get something else from you guys too on the beef side.
Okay.
Chuck roast is $9.50 a pound.
Yes.
Do you have any of that? Also, your skirt steak was fantastic. Do you have any of that?
I do have some left.
I'll definitely look at the skirt steak.
For it earlier. Somebody
Look at this. This is a pig kidney. They always take all my money. It's fine though. I take all their meat.
Yeah.
It's a good
Why
trade.
you can't? Oh, that's
That's what a lot of people don't understand about business. It's taking other people's money.
Hey, you guys specialize in creating this, and I do other things, so it works out perfectly fine for me. I'm good for it.
That's good.
Put it in the freezer.
Yes, sir.
If you want me to pay for it in advance, I'm happy
No,
to do
sir.
that too.
Not at all. No, sir.
Oh, and I asked you if you had any more of that pork fat.
Yes, I do.
Do you have it with you today?
No.
Oh man! So you're bringing it to Mueller
Yeah,
tomorrow?
yeah, you want tomorrow, get it?
I probably need
Or
to
next
do
week
it.
with the lamb, whatever you want to do.
We'll wait till next week. You guys don't do sweet breads, right? You're not getting it from the processor? Like sweet bread?
No, we have it because of the way it is.
Depending on how they. So how when it's killed will sometimes trigger it. If it does, and you notice whatever the time is,
Because of whatever comes out of their belly, it kind of contaminates that processing.
you got it.
Okay.
That's why
So-
we don't have tongue very often either.
Okay.
And what we try to do
One would
is
say, just wash it. Let the steak doesn't stay there.
Just rinse it off. I'll eat it.
I know.
You have more like the raw, just like that's what that is.
yeah, that's what
So when it's uncured, that means is there no like seasoning?
nothing at all on it.
It's just the
Just a belly
slice.
slice. That's it.
And
Nothing
is
else.
bacon just a thin cut of pork belly?
Exactly right.
Same thing. Do you have any duck eggs? Okay.
We can get those.
Okay. I did email her, but I'll probably email her sooner so she has more of a heads up. Because I emailed her yesterday morning. So maybe catch her like Wednesday or something, or Saturday. Okay.
The organ meats have a special environment, so we need to eat probably at least a week or 2 days in advance.
Okay. I do YouTubing and all that stuff, so it works great for me because it's like I can put all that on there. Yeah, this will go on my YouTube. Part of this.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I'll be on the internet.
So you need to send us.
I'll block you out if you want.
Send us your channel.
Yeah, it's called Carnivore Curtain.
All right.
Yeah. with-
So what
with
do you
two
do with
Ks.
all the meat?
I make it. I eat it.
And
You
then
know,
do you sell it or what?
no, I eat it myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, I mean, a lot of the
I
restaurants.
only eat meat.
Well, I mean, a lot of the you know, local restaurants, they buy all their meats and, you know, whatever produce from the farmer's market. So I thought maybe you had a restaurant.
Yeah, that's a good point. I already have your email actually.
So you only
right?
eat meat?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And that's it.
All animal foods. So I just don't eat like fruits or vegetables. Yeah. So if it comes from the ground as a plant, then I won't eat it. Yeah, it's kind of a newer thing. It's been around for about a year, the carnivore diet. Yeah, and the idea is that plants can be more triggering for some people.
Does it throw you into like keto?
It's a ketogenic diet, so you definitely eat like high fat, which is why I love their meats because they have a lot of great fat marbling on their cuts.
Yeah.
And then I just bought a block of that suet. I don't know if you ever bought suet before.
No.
This is straight fat. This is just raw fat. I cut this up and eat it raw. You just salt it and you just eat it raw. It's fantastic. Yeah, this is how I stay in keto.
See, I've tried it. It'll stick to the
This one is sage oil.
It will a little bit sometimes. Yeah, some of yours has like more tendons and like other things in there.
Yeah.
But this is like the best stuff to eat when you're on keto. Like that MCT oil and the olive oil. I have
It's
so many
nothing
gut
compared to
issues if I eat that stuff in high amounts. Yeah. This and egg yolks, like raw egg yolks. I'll put raw egg yolks in my diet too. What do I owe you, Rose? Yeah, the main focus is elimination. So maybe you don't know if things are triggering you because you now just eat beef,
Right.
water, and it's ketogenic. You're kind of eliminating everything that could trigger you. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
So no fruits and veggies.
No fruits and veggies. I've done my blood work 3 times. I thought maybe I'd be low on like vitamin A or C or riboflavin or some of those
Right.
key vitamins, but you get those if you eat liver. So I eat liver every other day, and I make jerky, and that feeds a lot of the vitamins, and also kidney.
So let me just ask you this kind of random question. Like, a lot of people that have, why do people say, okay, I can't eat red meat because of my heart condition?
I think
What-
it's really long standing. Like there's a couple of articles that just came out in the New York Times actually debunking all that because all these epidemiological studies, which aren't like actually clinically backed, it's just. I think it's nonsense. Like your body is made of red meat.
That's
You're
what I
like you
think.
are red meat. Why would
Yeah,
eating
that's-
what you are like
Why
hurt
would
you?
that create plaque in your arteries? Why do doctors say that red meat creates plaque in the arteries?
So I think the idea is that they see people who are having like inflammation that's elevated from sugar, like insulin resistance, and like all the carbohydrates they're eating, and the autoimmunity they have from the plant molecules.
Potato package.
Yeah, or the processed foods, and that inflammation then needs cholesterol on the surface of it to repair it. And so the cholesterol is like the fireman at the scene of the fire, but it's not the cause of the fire. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, that's the theory. I'm not a doctor. Don't take my advice. Trust yourself. Follow your own wisdom. But yeah, I mean, if you do your blood work, like I have, I've seen my inflammation go down on the carnivore diet. I've seen my cholesterol went up, but I'm not worried about it. I don't think the cholesterol is really the issue. Good chatting with you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, if you made it this far, as you know, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. Let me know what you have found works really well for you as far as getting organs, these kind of unique items in your diet plan, in your supply. There's also some co-ops in local markets. I've done a grocery kind of raid at Whole Foods as well as the Walmart supercenters in Austin. I found tripe, I found stomach, I found liver in both of them, and I found grass-fed meats. So you're not limited to just farmers markets and butcher shops, but they tend to be higher quality sources where you can find more consistent supplies of even more organs. Anyways, as always, keep crushing. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have a good one.